driven by both natural and human-induced factors, such as intense rainfall, rising sea levels, rapid urbanization, poor or inadequate drainage infrastructure. On May 28, 2025, flooding caused by heavy rainfall submerged the market town of Mokwa in Niger State, Nigeria, causing several damage. Officials said that the floods killed at least 500 people and confirmed that over 600 others were missing. At least 200 others were injured, and the flooding destroyed over 4,000 homes. Good morning and welcome to Real Estate Matters on Super FM 92.7. I'm still your host, the Real Estate Doctor. As usual, I'm not alone. I have my co-host, Ray. What's up?
I'm King Gray.
King Gray, how are you doing?
I am good. Good morning, everybody.
So today we're looking at the flood issue in Lagos State, and not just Lagos. I think we should narrow it down to Nigeria, because as a matter of fact, this issue is becoming a recurring issue, and that's why we're looking at the impact of flooding on real estate. So please don't forget that you can be part of the show by calling us on 070-569-00927. I'll take that number one more time, 070-569-00927. That's the number to call to be part of the show. And you can also follow us on our socials, Real Estate Doctor, that's my handle. And for King Gray, you can also follow Ray.Realtor, right?
Yes.
Ray.Realtor.
Ray.Realtor.
So to be part of the show today, we have an astute, business leader, a renowned estate surveyor and valuer, and a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, in person of estate surveyor and valuer, Olusanjo Fawole. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Sanjo has been somebody, in the real estate industry, I make bold to say that he has well over 20 years of experience, and I think that is the man to do justice to our discussion today. Whether you like it or not, flood is ravaging the whole of this country, to be very honest. Particularly Lagos. Look at the case that happened in Mokwa. We keep losing lives, we keep losing properties, we keep losing investment. And I think that it's high time we bring this discussion to the front burner of our discussion. So I'd like us to go on this very quick break. When we come back, we'll dive straight into the conversation.
Real Estate Matters with the Real Estate Doctor and his co-host, King Ray, on Super FM 92.7 Lagos. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This show brings you an understanding of the business of real estate. Follow us on our socials at real_estate doctor and at ray.realtor for sponsorship and advertisement. Call us on +234 802 735 1727. Powered by Media House Promotions. Real Estate Matters, only on Super FM 92.7, where real estate matters.
Welcome back, real estate enthusiasts. Welcome back to Real Estate Matters, and I am your host, King Ray, with my co-host, Real Estate Doctor. Today we have our special guest, ESV Olusanjo Fawole, who is also a partner at Ubosiele and Co. And he's going to be talking on our topic for today, which is regards to the flood and the issues that we have in real estate and the impact that it has in real estate. So we're just going to dive.
Sorry to butt in there, Ray.
Yes.
Very quickly. So Mr. ESV Sanjo Fawole is a partner in Ubosiele, and today happens to be the birthday of one of the partners of the critical partners of Ubosiele. That's Mr. Chudi Ubosi. So I think we should say happy birthday to Mr. Chudi.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, long life and prosperity. Mr. Chudi has always been somebody that I've always admired, and I just think he's a go-to person when you need professional advice. I remember some years ago, about 10 years ago, when I just walked into Ubosi and I needed him to sign some stuff for me, and he did it without even asking. People will ask like, where are you? Do I know? It was very free, and And those are the people we look up to in this profession, I must be honest. So congratulations to you, Mr. Chudi. Long life and prosperity to you. I'm sure after the show, we'll go to the office for our cake and rice and jollof rice.
Interesting.
Yes,
That's
so-
fine. It's okay.
So I just had to chip that in. So over to you, Ray.
Okay. Happy birthday again, sir. And then back to our guest in the house.
Yes.
With regards to our question, flooding and property market in Nigeria and especially in Lagos. So what are some of the immediate? I mean, it's raining everywhere in Lagos State, and some streets, some properties are have been flooded, and some areas have been flooded. You even see on social media where some people have been what they call it, have dragged some real estate agents and some professionals on the locations that they've sold to them, and some people have also brought in, and mentioned their colleagues or their friends that have purchased properties in those areas. So, what are the immediate effects, right? For flooding, what immediate effect does flooding have on property values and rent in affected areas, especially here in Lagos State?
Okay, great. Thank you once again for having me. And, just yesterday while I was just reading the Punch newspaper, and it was surprising. I was mentioning to you earlier on that I discovered that this issue of the flood was actually on the front burner. And so this morning, whilst also driving here, over the radio, I was listening to what happened last night, how people...
What happened last night was a colossal
You also
damage.
shared the experience with me, what happened
I
last
go home
night.
3 a.m.
Yeah, very terrible. So, I mean, very unfortunate, right? But before we delve into... I would like to walk through the minds of our listener to be able to answer this question. But before that, of course, it's a global phenomenon. I like the fact that you did mention what happened in Mokwa, even recently, Texas, in the United States of America. I mean, up to, it's a natural one. So it's something that, it's something that generally I think we are really grappling with, So in working with the minds of the listener to answer your question straightforward is to say, just think about it. Just think about what happened last night in terms of the environment where you stay, and you just got in there, the whole place is flooded and all that. Just imagine in your head, what if you were to be the owner of those places? What's going on? What will be going on in your mind? You probably have your children who walk barefoot in the rain into their homes, lack of good access and all that. So damage and all that. So I think in the minds of the people who had this experience, what will be going on is, hey, I need to get another place. So if you are thinking about, I need to get another place, it simply means that there's going to be a drop in the rental values, right? It means that there's going to be possibility of vacancy rates. Right? So, and that's not what an investor will want to happen. If you are a real estate enthusiast, you are an investor, you want to maximize your profit, and in maximizing your profit, having full vacancy is one of them, right? Okay, so if somebody who experienced flooding last night, this morning is thinking and say, I need to get another place. That's a problem. Then
That's a problem.
Now, think about it also further by saying, assuming that this person's rent is due in 3 days' time. How do you approach him to? How do you approach him? How do you approach rent renewals, rent review? You want to meet somebody and say, okay, your rents are due, and this man 2 days ago, just last night, had this. How do you even approach? So it means that you're going to be dealing with somebody
who
won't
even have the guts to approach that person.
So you are probably going to be dealing with somebody who is not even interested in paying his rent. So the immediate implication is the fact that you have loss of rent where possible. Also the fact that vacancy rates, reduce. And this is Lagos is a small place. Albeit words of mouth. Before you know it, somebody say this is not the
But let me ask a very tricky question, Mr. Sanjo. Do you think that flooding affects property values negatively?
Okay, so
values, not rent.
Yes, when you say values, again, that you are speaking from the perspective of somebody who actually
because what I'm asking is some parts of Lekki are flooded and they are still selling properties that crazy.
I'm going to come to that. I understand. You're speaking from the premises of somebody who is invested in real estate, right? And again, it's basically taste, if you ask me. Taste people are okay, Lekki, VI, but see, there are certain things that will not be sustainable over time. take it or leave
Especially
it.
if there's no
Over
change
time.
in the
That's the point.
structure
That's the point. Because we are saying your daughter, your son comes back from school, yes, the house is beautiful on the outside, everything looks good, but
they
you
need a boat to enter the house.
They need a boat to enter the house. Now, psychologically for the children, your son or your daughter is telling you, Daddy, Mommy, why are we living in this kind of environment? But in your own mind, you think you actually, yes, it's a good place.
Yeah.
So in terms of value, I don't, maybe not significantly.
Yes.
And that is because of our taste generally.
Yes.
Some people rather die on this hill to say I'm staying on
the island.
than okay.
Because I know that some parts of mainland you hardly see flooding. That's the truth.
Yes.
But if you once you cross that South Mainland Bridge and you cross to VI Ikoyi, you see different levels of flooding, even entering people's living room and all that. My estate where I stay around VGC now, the estate was well built. There's no flooding. But, neighboring properties, oh, Lord. There's a certain celebrity who passed on last week. I don't want to mention his name. Flooding was right now his living room is submerged. It's crazy. So right now we've put up the house for sale, and if you hear the price they're asking for, so a lot of properties on the island. I think that flooding is an issue, but the market value for the properties are still very crazy.
Okay, so I would like to, your contribution for you.
Yeah.
Yes, there's flooding in some of these areas, but it's a lot of times it's from drainage issues.
From drainage, so we're going to go to that.
Because yes, when you mention flooding in some parts of the world, that is more of it's a natural disaster. It's something that even with the drainages they get flooded, and there's.
But ours is more like man-made errors.
Exactly. Yes. As is some developers obstructing the drainage system. Some developers just removing it altogether because maybe as they want to do the driving to their house, or they want to expand where they can park, and some of them don't seem to understand the value. I've seen some places where the developer reduces the size of it.
Very true.
The one that the government has already put as supposed to be a certain space, they reduce it and it's a lot slimmer.
Okay, so King Gray, that's where this question that comes in. The issue of regulations.
Yes.
Right? Because again, we have to be very strong. And when we talk about other climes, I wake up few weeks ago or thereabout, I wake up to a message on my phone that there's going to be heavy rain or thereabout. So if the children are going to go to school from a particular point in time, the bus will not be available. So we just have to make that decision to say, the children are not going to school today, right? Because there's a warning, there's an information to say, there's, and the timing, very accurate timing, by 3 p.m. so time, it's going to start raining here. If you want your children to come to school, they can actually come to school. But just know that at this time, this is what's going to happen. Exactly. So it brings to fore this issue of regulations. Because when developers, just like you mentioned right now, people build on drainages, and kudos, we must also give credit to the Lagos State.
I think they're doing a lot on that,
especially the Commissioner for Environment. Yes, definitely, a lot is being done in recent time.
I agree with you.
Honestly, most of our problem are actually, like you said, they are
man-made errors. You can see those that built houses on drainages in the Kota, and their properties were demolished. I think last year or so. So those are some of the man-made errors caused by we Lagosians or Nigerians, and that's why we're here. If you look at our infrastructure deficits, the fact that Nigerians will build houses. If you want to build estates in Sena climes, the first thing you do is infrastructure, drainage, roads, all the facilities that you need to make that estate or that area, livable or functional.
Yes.
But in Nigeria, people will build estates. Is at the point of completion, they'll start to look for where do we put drainage, where do we put gutter, where do we put. So those are the issues that have gotten us to this point. And I think that everything still boils down on the government. So I'll leave it to Mr. Sanjo to.
No, really, I think you captured properly. Normally, infrastructures are meant to precede development.
Yes.
But in this part of the world, development actually precedes infrastructure.
Yes.
Which is not the right thing to do. So that means you begin to you begin to negate what the plans are. Right, maybe the length of the road, the breadth of the road, what it should be, and all that. Yes. So, but if you have those infrastructure in place, we talk about good, well-lit drainages, the roads, and all that before the development, then it's maybe to some extent difficult for developers to begin to build over those what do you call it, over the
Drainages.
drainage and all that.
Yes, and canals.
Which takes me back to what I was building on, right?
Yes,
because
yes.
as much as we say yes, some developers breach these policies or conditions, there are a lot of estates, right, that have those policies in place.
Yes.
I mean, we still have places like Banana Island. There are places, you can't, as a developer, there are still guidelines within that estate that tell you what to do. So when they ask you for the value that area is, I feel it's at par with the policies and the things that they try to keep in place. Even if, yes, it might not be coming from the government, but the local area. You mentioned VGC. You know that within VGC, they have those structural features in place, and they ensure that it is maintained. Right? So yes, when someone is selling a property in that area, when they give you a price, it is at par with what they're expecting. Right? Same thing with some estates in Lekki, some estates in there's some estates. What's this other place near Aja
Royal Garden?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, I know that there are some estates that don't. In fact, there are a lot of estates in Lagos that it's just 5 streets. They will put one gate in front, put one gate at the back, and put a name. We are estate so.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's actually no no agreement within the estate residents to say, okay, this is what we are doing. Let's put gutters here. Let's actually make this thing work. Right, and then they now start increasing their price because they put 2 gates in front of their property.
Let me also butt in. Let me also ask. I saw a recent post by the Lagos State government or somewhere online saying that there's likelihood of coming back to those days where we used to have environmental sanitation every weekend. So, Mr. Sanjo, do you think that's the way forward?
See, honestly, I mean, you just took this out. Of course, I know it was a political stuff.
Yeah.
The cancellation was more political than. But honestly, I think we need to go back to that.
Really?
We need to. I strongly. I don't know what the Lagos government is going to do.
Blocked.
I don't know what they're going to do to. I mean, of course, I know the legal implication then was that you cannot just, but I feel yes, you cannot just. But I think if there's a law, I mean, if the state decide to pass a law to that effect to say, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. Take for instance on Thursdays, generally around the markets where people just clean and just you see that there's some level of
sanity.
There's a level of sanity. So I honestly,
yes, there's a difference.
So I honestly will advocate and say, see, this issue of environmental sanitation is something we have to go back to. It's something
because I think some people came up with the assertion that it was kind of infringing on their freedom.
That's why I say
I don't agree with it.
No, that's why I say no. But again, no. But if you look at it, if you look at it, someone will say, okay, maybe I have a wedding plans.
Saturdays are for weddings.
Saturdays.
Lagos is
you want to take 4 hours.
Exactly.
Most of us are business owners who have to go to work.
So I think that's the premises from whoever went to court with it. But that's what I'm saying, that I think we can find a way around it. The government can actually find a way around it. And see, we travel and we see things. And honestly, at times you get to some place and you just wonder, how are these people, how is this place clean? How is it that you get to place, you don't even, you cannot even, I mean, my wife, there was an instance, real estate doctor, there was an instance, I'm not actually kidding, this is true, I'm telling the truth. The guy wanted to board the bus. He was actually chewing, what do you call it, chocolate, was eating his chocolate. The driver had to tell him that he had to finish that chocolate
before you move.
Before you hop into the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. You don't eat. You don't. You don't eat in the bus. You don't eat. So you finish, and the guy was willing to wait for you. That's the beauty of it. Yes. The guy was. There's a around you. So there's a trash. So finish your chocolate, trash it, then come into the bus.
Yes, I agree.
All right. So I also think, honestly, we have a lot to deal with in this.
You brought up a topic that I'm very passionate about because littering is a big problem. So as much as we say, oh yes, blocked drainages, some developers are blocking drainages, a lot of Nigerians litter, throw out bottles, throw out trash, and not aware of how their trash is being disposed of. You have residents who are owner-occupiers, they have the financial capacity to properly dispose of their waste. But for one reason, they are throwing their trash in the gutters.
Yes.
Throwing it over the fence, throwing it in a place, and you're wondering what are you thinking if you are cutting cost on just getting Loma to come and pick up your trash?
Great, that's even better. Haven't you seen driving behind driving behind probably a Lexus Jeep, driving behind
And you
an
see
SUV,
somebody wind down.
you see somebody wind
See
down.
through.
Throw nylon
So
of,
I think it's just the orientation.
And
It's our orientation is very
bottle on
bad.
the,
Yeah.
You see, at times I just feel like I have this superpower to just.
That was the case of this guy that was caught recently now that parked a Lexus Jeep somewhere around on the mainland and brought out hip hop.
Oh yes,
and,
yes.
He was just training by the roadside. He was arrested now.
Yes, no, I
The
think
Lagos
that's why I
government
would say
went-
what the and you
That's
see.
what that Kia or Kai, that's what it's supposed to be for, right?
Kai,
But again, see,
I'm not sure
also
Kai is
think
still in.
that-
I'm not sure Kai is still in.
See, we need to go beyond. You know,
yeah.
most of the times we leave this to. We talked about the Commission of Environment.
Yeah.
Now, how much can he or will he do? How
Yes.
much of monitoring will he be able to do? Because at night, just what you said, I also heard about it.
Yes.
Somebody coming with a clean car, park in the middle of the road,
Road
and
to-
but
to-
you know now, So how much of this will this man? So they are all. You can't leave this to. That's why I said
can't
we've
leave it to
got-
the government
That's why
alone.
we've
Yes, we
got
can't
a
leave it to the
lot.
government
And
alone.
you know the funny thing about Nigerians. I'm sorry
Yes,
to say,
yes.
I'm one of them, right? But we're Nigerians. The funny thing is when you try to tell people this is wrong, you see a lot of people and tell you what's wrong, what is like are you the only one?
I think in
don't think
Nigeria,
the
I think in
responsibility of
Nigeria, we're the
doing
problems of
different.
ourselves.
Yes,
And
that's
honest.
honestly that's
Yes.
that's
we
actually
can't
the
continue
point.
blaming the government.
We can't continue blaming the
We are
government.
very
So
responsible for
if
where we
we
are.
are all responsible,
Yes.
I mean there are places you work. My God,
If you
know
saw
it's not-
yesterday, rain only fell for 1 hour, 2
Less
hours.
than 2 hours
If you
or
saw the
thereabout.
flood in Lekki Phase 1. I was almost looking at my phone to see if I could hire a boat to take me home. A boat or
And you know the funny thing,
not
this also comes-
not boat, so boat.
Oh, yeah.
Boat that I'll be paddling to get to my house.
Real estate
It
doctor,
was
this
crazy.
also the implication
Yeah.
also is that it exposes us to insecurity.
He does.
You're in traffic.
Yes.
Somebody barge on your door.
Yes, he
asks
does.
you to bring your phones. I mean, you're already battling with something,
Yeah.
and here you.
Yes.
So it comes with a whole lot.
It does.
A whole
I agree.
lot. But
I agree.
honestly, like we are all articulating here. The
Yeah.
point is. We all have a lot to do.
Yeah.
We have
Every
roles to
one
play,
of us,
yes.
we have roles to play.
Yes.
And
We
that's
have
why
roles
this
to play.
awareness, this that you're doing, is
It's
very
very,
important.
it's very
It's
important.
key.
So, I mean, so if you're just joining us, we're still in the studio with Estate Surveyor and Valuer Olusanjo Fawole, a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, a partner at Ubosiele and Co. And we're still discussing the impact of flooding on real estate. Well, whether we like it or not, we cannot overflog this issue, and we cannot exhaust it on this seat. But I must say that the issue of flooding is something we have to nip in the bud once and for all. The countries like America that have flooding issues, most that for them is a natural disaster. But yeah, our own is artificial disaster, is man-made. It's man-made. People.
Nigeria that is still natural.
Yes,
disaster,
Yeah.
the northwest, like the ones in Sokoto, Zamfara, and all the. As a
Where
matter of
it's
fact, was
raining
it
for
yesterday?
10 days
Yeah.
The Punch newspaper released, I think NIMET
Yeah.
released the recent, what they call it, awareness or
Yes.
notification regarding, yes, in 20 states.
20 states.
And as a matter of fact, in that report, I think it was stated that Sokoto will experience the highest.
And the rains this year has been
Yes.
it's been falling.
And then
It's
Lagos.
been raining for the past 7
Lagos
days
is
in this Lagos. It's raining every day.
So you can imagine, and that's just,
So we should
that's
expect
just,
more.
you can, this
Like,
is,
it's like a tip of the iceberg.
you know.
So we need to be. So I mean, I like to always say that for us to move forward as a country, we must not leave everything to the government. We must join hands with the government to make this country work. It's been a very wonderful time with Estate Surveyor and Valuer Olusanjo in the studio today. I hope that we can get you back to the studio in no time, because what I was going to ask you about there was a recent building collapse last week
Okay.
in Adeniji Adele. I was going to ask for your opinion about that. Yeah, I would like to have just in 30 seconds. Why do you think we keep having the issue of this building collapse? This is like the 4th case this year in Lagos State. What do you think is the way forward?
Honestly,
Just
if
in
you
30
ask me,
seconds.
regulation. I put it at the
Regulations.
door. Somebody signed up on.
Absolutely,
Somebody should be
I agree.
monitoring. Somebody should be asking
I agree.
questions.
The
I mean,
consequences should be
it's
stated.
just it's a straightforward thing. You
So
know.
I agree. Thank you so much, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Olusanjo.
such
It's
an
been
honor
very
to be
wonderful
here.
having you in the studio. King Gray, it's good to have you as usual.
It's always great to be here.
Even though I have a query for you after the show, but don't worry, we'll do that off record. So thank you so much, listeners. So thank you for listening. Until we come your way, same time next week. Still your real estate doctor. Stay blessed.
2.7 Super FM.